Hey folks, welcome back. My British Computer Guy here with a new WLED tutorial. Today we're going to be diving into the world of WLED and segments. This is going to be part one of a two-part video discussing segments. In the first video, we're going to go ahead and cover what segments are and how you set them up from scratch. Now in part two, I'll go a little bit deeper into segments and we'll take a look at how to set up multiple LED strips on multiple GPIO pins on your ESP board. Also, I'm going to probably cover the basics, just basics of grouping and spacing, so stay tuned for that. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications of new video drops, and without further ado, we shall begin. So, what are segments in WLED? Think of your LED strip like a long row of Christmas lights. In WLED, a segment is simply a way to split that row into smaller zones. It's kind of like cutting the strip into virtual sections, but instead of controlling the whole strip as one thing, you can actually control different parts of the strip independently. So, for example, segment 1 could be LEDs 1 through 20, segment 2 could be LEDs 21 through 56, and maybe segment 3 could be LEDs 57 through 76. Now the nice thing about each segment you create is each segment can have its own color, brightness, effect, and speed, which is great if you're doing things like Christmas lighting, some Halloween effects, that kind of thing. Now the great thing about segments is you don't physically cut your LEDs. Nothing gets rewired, it's just a software zone inside WLED. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a single LED strip attached to one GPIO pin. For this tutorial, the equipment I'm using is simple. I'm going to be using a freshly flashed ESP32 board running WLED version 5.13. I'm also going to be attaching that to a LED strip of 76 WS2812B LEDs, and we've got a 5-volt power brick which I'm going to use for my power supply. Now this tutorial actually applies to any board running WLED. You just may have some differences on the pins. You may have noticed I'm actually using a custom circuit board to mount my ESP32 on. This is something I designed for a project a while ago. It was actually for one of my LED matrix projects. It makes it easier for me to go ahead and get things going in my video. Just know that the LED strip is connected just like every other LED strip I've connected in the past. And for those of you who have not seen the other videos, go back and check them out. But this is the schematic. So I have my power supply positive wire going to the 5-volt pin on the ESP32 and also the 5-volt side of the LED strip. My ground wire is connected to the GND pin on the ESP32 board and also the ground side of the LED strip. And the data is being fed from GPIO 16. I'm going to assume you've already watched my other videos on how to flash your ESP32 with WLED and know how to connect your LED strip. If you haven't, then I do suggest you check out the links in the description down below and watch those videos before getting into this video. Also, as this is a from scratch video, we're going to need to set up our ESP32 before we can do anything. So first things first, let's go ahead and plug our ESP32 in and power up the board. By default, WLED in version 15.3 is programmed to output data on GPIO 16, and also the default number of LEDs is set to 30, which is why you can see here we only have the first 30 lit. Next, we'll need to go to our config menu and select LED preferences, as we need to let WLED know how many LEDs we have connected and which GPIO pin they are connected to. So once you're here, go ahead and scroll down to where it says LED outputs. And we're going to go ahead and change our length to 76 because that's how many LEDs we have on this particular strip. Now, if your LED wire is connected to a GPIO pin other than pin 16, this is where you can change it. And once you're happy with the settings, you go ahead and hit save, and it'll take you back to the config menu and go ahead and select home. And as you'll notice now, all of our LEDs are lit up. Next, we want to go ahead and define our segments. As you see, you already have a segment allocated to your strip. By default, this is called segment 0. Now, this name can be changed, and for this tutorial, we will change our segment names to what they will be defining. As the data in our project is flowing from left to right, the segments will be defined in that order. We need to go ahead and click on the drop down arrow of segment 0 and then click on the pencil icon to edit its name, and let's go ahead and call this segment left side. Once you've done that, go ahead and click on the checkbox to update it. And now we want to go ahead and specify the parameters of our first segment. Now you'll notice that some of the information is already populated. Start LED, stop LED, offset, grouping, and spacing. Now currently we're only interested in the start LED and stop LED, as these really define which LEDs on the strip we want in each segment. By default, the start LED will always be 0. This just means that the first LED to be lit will be the LED in position 1. The stop LED numeral is taken from the LED preferences page. It takes the total number of LEDs for each GPIO pin utilized and totals it and displays this number. So for example, if I was utilizing 3 different GPIO pins and each of those had 100 LEDs specified in LED preferences, then the stop LED would display as 300. So for this particular demonstration, our left side has 20 LEDs. So we're going to go ahead and enter that number into the stop LED box. And then we'll save this by clicking the check button to update. Congratulations, you've just created your first segment. Easy as that. Now, as we didn't specify a color right away, you won't notice a change in the LEDs. We'll take care of that when we've gone ahead and defined all of our segments. Next, we want to go ahead and configure our second segment, which is the top row of LEDs. So we'll need to go ahead and click the Add Segment button and then rename it. We'll go ahead and call this one Top Row. Click on the Update button. Now you'll notice our second segment has also been populated with some basic information. The start LED value of our second segment has been populated with the stop LED value that was defined in the previous segment. In this case, it shows 20, which means that the first LED to be lit in our second segment will be LED in position 21. As the app knows the total number of LEDs you have, it will always display the total LED count as the stop LED value by default on any new segment. Our top row has a total of 36 LEDs. So we need to let the app know what position the stop LED is in for our second segment. So using some simple math, we know that our left side segment contains 20 LEDs and this top row segment has 36 LEDs. Just add those two numbers together to get our stop LED value, which in this case will be 56. If you notice, once we put that number in, it's automatically going to tell us how many LEDs will be lit in this segment, so 36. Go ahead and click on the checkbox to update it. And now you've created your second segment. The last segment is always going to be the easiest to define, as we don't really need to change anything at all since we're just using the remaining LEDs, and by default it's already populated the start LED and stop LED with the data we need. We just need to rename it, so in this case we're just going to go ahead and call this one right side, and then we'll hit the update button. Okay, so now we've created all 3 segments, we can adjust them to whatever we like. And this is the fun part. So you'll notice that each segment can be checked using a check mark. You've got 3 different check marks, 1 for each segment. Now a segment is selected for modification if the check mark next to the segment name is checked. So if any effects or colors are applied while a segment is checked, it will actually apply those changes to all checked segments. So let's just go ahead and check the first segment first of all and uncheck the others. This means that any color or effect we apply will only be applied to the left side segment, and for simplicity's sake we'll just stick with solid colors for now, but know that you can just as easily apply a pattern effect. For our left side, we're going to go ahead and choose the color red. And you'll notice as soon as we selected the color, the whole first segment on the left side changed color to red. I'm now going to go ahead and deselect the left side segment and check the top row. And we'll change this one to green. Once again, you'll see the top row is now changed to green. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and deselect the top row and select the right side. And we're going to go ahead and change this one to blue. And there you have it, folks. That's how you create simple segments on a single LED strip that's hooked up to a single GPIO pin. It really is that simple. Now, if you want, you can save this to a preset. Just click the preset button and give it a name and hit save. And then you can go ahead and create another set of segments if you wish, with different colors or different effects. Great if you want different color schemes for cabinet lighting, or maybe come Halloween, or maybe even your favorite holiday. So let's just go ahead and do this one. Let's just call this RGB. Now you'll notice under here there are some different options you can select. Use current state, include brightness, save segment bounds, check segments only, apply at boot. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go ahead and really get into those now, but the main ones that you probably really want to use are include brightness and apply at boot. Apply at boot just basically means if you unpower the ESP board and then repower it on, whatever, if this is a preset that says apply at boot, this is the one that will fire up when you turn on your ESP32. Let's click save. And there we go. We have our first set of segments. So as you'll see, I've gone ahead and reset the segments, taken them all out. We've just gone back to one segment with 76 LEDs in it, which is our total number of LEDs, and changed the color just to amber so we can kind of make it easy to see. Now, let's go ahead and explain grouping and spacing in WLED in the simplest way possible. Grouping is basically the number of LEDs that light up together as one block. Spacing is the number of LEDs between those groups that stay off. So if your grouping is set to 3, that means 3 LEDs light up together. If your spacing is set to 2, that means after those 3 lit LEDs, 2 LEDs stay off before the next group lights up. So really your grouping is the LEDs that are lit, and the spacing is the LEDs that are not lit. It's just a simple way to create patterns and make your LED effects look more spread out, segmented, or stylized. So let's go ahead and show you exactly what I mean. So right now, start LED and stop LED are set. Grouping is set to 1, which basically means all the lit LEDs are single LEDs, and they're grouping in groups of 1. We're going to go ahead and change that to 3. So we've got 26 virtual groups, and we're going to set the spacing to 3, which will give us a total of 13 blocks of 3 with spaces of 3 between them. Simple as that. That's basically it. We can change this to make the grouping 1 and have spacing of 3, which means we're going to have 1 LED lit with 3 unlit between them, so on and so forth. Now there are a couple of other options on here as well I want to touch on real quick. We've got reverse direction and mirror effect, and these are mainly for the effect modes. So let's go ahead and take this back to 1 and 0. Let's go ahead and apply an effect. And we're going to go ahead and use the chase effect. So with the chase effect, reverse simply changes the direction the lit LEDs move. So instead of the chase running from left to right, reverse makes it run from right to left. Click the update button, and there you go. It doesn't change the effect itself, it just sends the signal basically in the opposite direction. Now with mirror, WLED takes the effect and reflects it, so both halves of the strip display the same pattern. So if you use the chase with mirror turned on, the movement appears on both sides in a mirrored way. Go ahead and check that, update, and there you go. And then if you, actually we already have reverse direction selected, but if we uncheck that, we can go ahead and reverse the direction as well. So in simple terms, reverse changes which way the effect travels, and mirror duplicates the effect in a reflected pattern across the strip. So that concludes part 1 of this 2-part video. The next part will be released shortly. In the meantime, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope this video helped make WLED a little easier to understand. If it did, please give the video a like, it helps the metrics. Subscribe to the channel and do hit that bell icon so you'll know when I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to join my Facebook group, WLED and RGB Goodness. It's a great place to ask questions, share your projects, and see some really cool ideas from the community. And also, be sure to check out the description down below for links to the products used in this video, plus some other helpful videos that should make your WLED journey even easier. Alright, thanks again for watching, I appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy now. Cheers. Bye bye.